She looked over the question. Oh, here's the one you left blank. What is the most enjoyable work experience you've had? Why did you enjoy it? Please be specific. For Mitch, the answer was easy, though embarrassing. After high school, Mitch didn't go to college, and in that year, his parents started out by saying things like, you can be perfectly happy without going to college, and ended up saying things like, have you given any thought to chipping in around here? Luckily, after a disastrous round of applications interviews, he found something tolerable. He was at the Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store in the Midwest, with his mom, making sure she got the right soup, when he saw a promotion for camping goods, charcoal, lighter fluid, hot dog buns, that was giving away a 20-foot canoe. Mitch filled out his name and phone number, and that was easy enough, so Mitch started coming in every day to fill out another one. 3 weeks later, a manager who sounded like he was speaking through a mustache called to tell Mitch that he had won the canoe. Mitch's dad helped him pick it up, and then later, after a trying week of keeping the canoe in the garage, helped him sell it to a coworker who walked around it once, buffed out a smudge with his thumb, and then pulled $400 out of his overall pocket. Mitch gave $100 to each of his parents, put the rest away, and named this enterprise No Capital Distribution. My water. Even though he knew No Capital Distribution wasn't really working, it was better than working, Mitch treated it like a job and took the same pride in it. He woke up early with his parents, drank coffee, and looked forward to upcoming holidays when he could take a break. In the morning, he'd go to the mall and check out the giveaways and promotions. In the afternoon, he would scour the internet for whatever contests major companies, always Mountain Dew and always Dove Skincare, were hosting. Even at night, he would check the classified ads for lost pets with sizable rewards, then search those neighborhoods with a big flashlight. He was making more than $400 a week, and most importantly to him, he was enjoying what he was doing. But in December, Mitch unfortunately hit the jackpot by winning a pair of jet skis from a PR campaign contest for a spring break movie about undercover cops. When he gave them to his parents for Christmas, they sat him down like somebody had died and said that they and his grandmother had talked and wanted him to think about the small college in Kansas City. It was a more traditional route, they said, one that could sustain a life. They loved the jet skis, they said, but this sort of thing couldn't last. So Mitch quit and took a job tearing tickets to the same field the jet skis had come from and left for Kansas City at the end of July. But Mitch could not share any of this. Madison would make too much of it. Why do you think you prefer working alone, she might say? Or, isn't it interesting that you don't feel the need to construct anything or have any connection to your work? Was another. Even, don't you think that raises some interesting questions about how money is separated from work? Might come up. He didn't want to think about that summer. He seemed to know why he liked it. It just seemed nice and easy. She was still waiting to hear about his enjoyable job experience, so we just started talking. I was working, he said, at an Applebee's. She cocked her head, immediately drawn in, like a waitress herself. I was the host, he said, the person who seats you when you come in. And there was this one night. We were about to close, like we almost had the place closed. Madison started to write. Then at the last minute, someone pulls up, this school bus, and this guy comes to the front door and looks in. I go get the door, and he says he's the coach of the football team, and they just had a hard loss, and they were wondering if they could eat even though we were closed. I told him to hold on, and I went to talk to other people, and we talked. What was said, Madison asked. Did you consider not letting them in? Yeah, I think that was discussed, but then somebody, who, she asked. It was one of the cooks. He was a sort of leader, I guess. He had been there the longest, and he must have persuaded us. Anyway, all the football players came in and were really grateful. It was actually a pretty good time. Then when they were all finished, the coach gave us a big tip and even extra jersey for us to put on the wall. Mitch altered his voice here, amping up the cheese, a little curious, finally, to know what it would mean to be caught. We got out of there a little bit later, but it seemed like the right thing to do. That memory was not his. He had never worked at an Applebee's, and what he had recalled was a commercial. He had seen it with his parents, and they had joked, this was before the jet skis, about what a flawed school district it was to allow their coaches to take athletes to burger joints in the middle of the night. That's why he remembered it. He said it now to say something, to let her analyze it with that nonsense. Blah, 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 key motivators, blah, blah, performance outcomes, blah, very interesting. Madison wrote for another minute and then put her pen down. Thanks for that, she said. It really helps me learn about you. Her voice was quieter now, more even, and it seemed obvious that she knew about the commercial. Can I tell you about my most enjoyable work experience? Mitch flipped his hand over as if to say, go ahead. It's this job, actually, she said, because almost all of the people that I work with aren't little shits. Almost all of them don't have difficulty getting through college because almost all of them aren't stupid and childish enough to waste other people's money. Almost all of them don't need special attention because almost all of them really want to find a job. Grow up and live. Almost all don't struggle to look enthused, don't blow off easy assignments, and don't lie to my face. And because of that, almost all of them aren't going to end up as old pricks dealing blackjack, wondering why it all wasn't easier. Almost all of them make it a great job, and as for the others, I could give a fuck. She shoved her folders and notebooks into her bag. She rose, gave one last tough look, and then left without slamming the door. At some time in his life, he would have been able to ignore what she said. At another, he would have put on an angel face and tried to convince her that the commercial was based on his life. More recently, he would have asked, just to rib her, if he was in the almost all group, among the people she liked. But there, and then, with those smiling posters on the wall, he felt wounded. He knew he shouldn't, he was not faultless. But sure enough, there it was, taking form within him as he flipped through the binder. He looked at it hard, though not reading. He looked at it as if it might tell him when would be a good time to get up and leave and continue. Thank you.
Lewis, that was great. How about one more round of applause for Lewis? So that concludes our first WIP of the semester, and one more reminder that there'll be another WIP next week starting at 7 o'clock again. So we'll see you all then. And then, so it seems like a unanimous decision has been made to go to karaoke after this. So, I need a ride, so, yeah. Okay. All right, thanks, Sarah. So that's it. Thanks, everyone, for coming out, and see you at karaoke. Oh, and also, Lawrence recorded this evening's reading for the Sonora Review blog, so if you want to listen to it again, go to sonorareview.com. Is it? Okay. I don't know if you have non-profit status, so.
Dot triple X.
Okay. Right, magic movies.